Birdland Tonight is your place for Orioles post-game coverage for fans by fans. All of the hosts on Birdland Tonight are Oriole fans that are either writing blogs or doing podcasts about Orioles. Head on over to birdlandtonight.com to learn more about the hosts and other shows and websites that they're a part of. And head on over to Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch and subscribe, follow, or like, whatever the appropriate thing is, to Birdland Sports. Finally, share, retweet, and tell your friends about Birdland Tonight so that we're all joined into the conversation after every Orioles game this year. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Head on over to the comment sections on Facebook and Twitch and YouTube to start interacting now. We'll see you soon. Did you know Birdland Tonight is also a podcast? Head on over to your favorite podcast app and subscribe to Birdland Tonight to get the audio of this show every morning ready for your commute. Thanks for joining us. We'll get started in just 1 minute. Make sure that you have subscribed to us on your favorite social media. Look up Birdland Sports on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Like, follow, retweet, share. See you in a moment.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to Birdland Tonight. As we, this is fun. 2 double headers in a row, back-to-back double headers. Joining me today is Cody from the I Just Like the Duck podcast. Cody, how you doing?
Well, it could be better. Unfortunately, it wasn't even a single win. We had 2 losses, but other than that, it was some nice baseball today.
Yeah, welcome to the first episode of Birdland Tonight with the Orioles in last place.
Yeah.
As the Orioles are now 5-8. We had that little bit at the top. then that nice time where everyone in the division is tied for second, and now we are 5-8 after today's 2 losses, on pace for 62 wins. So right where everyone expects us to be. I hope it doesn't go this way. I hope we can see a little light. I think there's definitely some stuff to take away with. But first, Cody, this is 4 games in a row now with only 7 innings. If anything, our bullpen should be fresh.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you, there's still a lot of things that are weird about 7 inning games, right? One of the things that I noticed that some of our guys in the first game only got 2 at bats. Yes. Those guys at the bottom of the order, that's just weird to see. And I kept trying to think through on, is there anything that would play in favor of the Orioles in a 7 inning game from a strategy perspective? Obviously not. We've won 1 out of the 4 7 inning games. Hyde and the rest of the Orioles must not be fans at this point.
No, and I'm not either. I really think when you go 7 innings, your game strategy changes. If you want to make 7 innings for all games for the whole season, I'm okay with that. But when it's randomly based on weather, 7 innings seems strange. I do like that the second game was 2 hours and 1 minute. So if you can find a way to speed the game up, I'm all cool with that. But it's weird to have certain games played with different rules.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's got to be some game theory in here on. I remember last year feeling that it didn't benefit the Orioles because we actually had a really decent bullpen. And I felt like, one of our weaknesses was our starting pitching, that, most of our guys couldn't go that long. But when we were scoring, I don't know if you remember now, last year we had so many games where we would score in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, take those innings away, and, we're not performing nearly as well.
Right. Yeah, well, let's start there with starting pitching, because the starting pitching today was pretty good. Matt Harvey in the first game went 4 2/3 of innings with 2 runs and 3 strikes. Gave up 2 runs, got 3 strikeouts, and then after that, Bruce Zimmerman went 5 innings, gave up 2 runs, both on home runs, solo shots to the same guy. So basically, he had bad luck with one guy, but he also got 2 strikeouts. Really good performances from this starting pitching.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen this, and what I really liked, especially in game 2, was I think something different from Hyde in giving Zimmerman a bit of a longer leash and letting himself work out of the jam that he got into there in the 5th. And that's something that I don't have a consistent feel for what Hyde's going to do. Is he going to, pull the starting pitcher? We've seen it with Means. We've seen it with Kramer. We've seen it with a lot of the guys. They get into the 4th or 5th inning, and if they struggle a little bit, if they get a guy on base or even 2 guys on base especially, he's typically going to yank the starting pitcher and bring in, somebody there. And we haven't had a lot of luck, with that, whoever comes in.
I know. And if you want to talk consistency, if there's one thing that I'm consistently noticing, and you can tell me if I'm crazy, but to me, I am consistently seeing Hyde pull Matt Harvey earlier in a game than he should, because it hasn't worked out once yet, pulling him.
Absolutely. And especially with Harvey, because, it's a guy that's a veteran that's been in those situations more than anybody else on the roster, and is probably a little bit more crafty and knows, how to work somebody into a double play or a ground out or something like that, just has a better feel for the situation.
At least I want to see if he can handle that situation. There's no need to go to the bullpen so fast.
Especially when our bullpen, it was nice to see a couple guys perform today, but, we've kind of struggled. I mean, it was nice to see Armstrong, go in and get a clean inning. He's really struggled lately. But, a lot of these guys have not been doing all that well. So it was good to see, at least some guys come in with some clean innings.
Right. And then in the second game to see Latkins and Saucer come in.
Cole the closer.
Yeah. With perfect innings. No issue there. No concern. Those 2 guys haven't pitched a whole lot, but when they come in, they're reliable. No concerns there. But this lineup is a huge concern, because you cannot afford to lose games where your pitcher only gives up 4 runs or 2 runs in this second game. You can't afford to lose those games when you've got this lineup that's supposed to be putting up 7, 8, 9 runs a game.
Absolutely. So let's jump into it. Let's see. One of the things that I was pretty disappointed to see in Game 1 was Anthony Santander with 3 strikeouts. We saw the massive home run by Mancini, but let's not kid ourselves. Trey has really been struggling these past couple of weeks, or this past week. We've seen him kind of try to tear his batting helmet in half. I think everybody talked about how it was good that he had a day off and he came back a little bit more relaxed. And then in the first inning, hit that 2-run bomb. But really after that, it seems like it's just a lot of up and down, a lot of inconsistencies from our bats.
Yeah, and Mancini specifically is a guy who, you see the frustration and anger on his face when he's at the plate. And that's not, I'm kind of surprised that Hyde hasn't given him an off day, because when you're so frustrated and focused like that, you would think it's a mental thing where it's like, let's just rest for a day and get beyond this. The disappointing thing today also was to see Cedric Mullins with no hits today. And
yeah,
I mean, he's been such a hot bat and had that, 15 games straight hit streak come to an end.
And talk about a contrast to Trey Mancini, who seems to have, that elevated blood pressure, all of that energy, and, he's ready to just kind of hit a 5-run home run at the plate, where Cedric, I don't know if his pulse kind of, moves above the resting pace when he's at the plate. He just looks so calm, cool, and collected when he's in there. And it was a shame to kind of see his hit streak end. But again, I feel of all of the people in our lineup, I still have the most confidence in Cedric Mullins, at the plate. And there's not a lot of guys that I can say I have, much confidence at all.
Yeah, I guess at this moment, Cedric Mullins is the only guy you can really say you have faith in. But also, we all know we saw the Cedric Mullins in the past that goes on some of the coldest streaks out there. So I'm concerned when he has a for what did he get? Like probably 6 at bats today and nothing.
Yep.
So that's concerning. But okay, it could be an off day for him, and it's all crammed into 2 games. Schedule's all screwed up with the extra off days from the rain this week. I mean, you got an off day, play 2, off day, play 2. That can't be good for you as far as physically getting ready for all this. So I'll give him that. I'm sure he's going to be back up there. I really like what we're seeing from DJ Stewart. I'm really happy with his performance at the plate. And Santander is who he is. I'd like to see some more power, but I like him in my outfield. I'm really interested to see what they do when Austin Hayes comes back in probably next week.
Do you feel like they've given Ryan McKenna a fair shot?
No, but I don't think they plan to. McKenna was up here for his speed, and that's what we've seen him in. We put him in there as a base runner. And remember, McKenna's never played above Double-A ball. So this is a big leap for McKenna. I think McKenna is only up because he was at the alternative site to get some more workouts in before minor league baseball. And it's a great opportunity for him, but I don't think they're giving him an opportunity to really stick around. I think it's pretty clear that when Hayes comes back, he's going down.
I would agree. So what is the answer? What do we do with this lineup? What options does the team have?
The team has no options. I mean, that's the problem. We used to talk about how we had no second basemen, and then Ruiz showed up. Well, Ruiz showed up for opening day, maybe the day after. That series in Boston, Ruiz looked amazing defensively, and he was hitting the ball at the plate. That Ruiz died in Boston. So now we're back to we have no second baseman.
Yeah.
Galvis
what about walk-off Ramon? Are you giving walk-off Ramon a shot at second base, or not so much?
No. Never mind. We got a second baseman. It's Rio Ruiz. We're set there. The problem is all these guys are so cold, and it's not what you expect at the start of the season. You expect kind of the bats to be a little warmer than the pitching. I am amazed that our pitching for the most part, is doing better than I expected. We've got some big problems in pitching with certain guys, but the starting pitching has been better than I expected. All my concern is at the lineup. You got Mancini batting 163, Ruiz 143, Galvis 167, Cisco 176. I mean, throw who else is in? Who did I miss? Franco's at 217, and there's your whole infield. Your infield cannot hit the ball.
So let me stop you right there. I'm going to read you off a few names that are over there at Project Bowie, and you tell me when you hear a name that you'd like to see.
Grayson Rodriguez. All right, let's do it.
We got Richie Martin. These are all infielders. We got Richie Martin.
All right, Richie Martin intrigues me.
I agree.
Because we've seen a little bit of flash from him in the past and then him fall apart, which is exactly what we saw with Cedric Mullen before he went to the aforementioned, thank you for going with the official name, Project Bowie.
Agreed.
So if that same magic can work with Richie Martin, I'm interested.
I am too. All right, what about Ryland Bannon? Would you like to see him up for a cup of coffee?
No, I don't think Ryland Bannon. I have no interest in Ryan Bannon. I don't expect him to be a Major League Baseball player.
Tyler Nevin.
I don't know enough about Tyler Nevins.
I don't either. Stevie Wilkerson.
No, I forgot he's on the team. Get rid of him. No.
Now,
you don't want Stevie Wilkerson in Baltimore, do you? If Stevie Wilkerson's in Baltimore, it means things went even worse than we all projected in Baltimore.
All right, fair enough. Jami Jones.
No. I mean, he's the type of guy that could have some Project Bowie magic stuck into him because he was supposed to be a number 1 draft pick or whatever. But we went down the path with someone else that we got that another team bailed, and the guy never turned out either. So no, I don't care about Jama Jones.
All right, so there's one last player that's out in Bowie, another infielder. Who again, you got to think if the Orioles have these guys there in Bowie, that must mean that they have, they could be called up at any point in time, right? Okay. They have to be somewhat Major League ready.
That's
so the last name on the list, Ryan Ripken. Ryan
Ripken's in Bowie.
He is. He's in Project Bowie. He's there. What do you think?
They are really trying to suck up to his dad, aren't they? I mean, Ryan Ripken is not. All right, Ryan Ripken's in Bowie because if things go really, really bad, Ryan Ripken's going to get a start in Camden Yards this year. Maybe around September 5th, September 6th, so they can do a little fan thing of, hey, come see Ripken make his appearance in Camden Yards.
Yeah, that would. Do you think they give him his dad's old number? Probably not. Not even for him.
No, if Billy's is available. I'm pretty sure the Orioles have retired Senior 7 because that's on a plaque in the dugout. So I think he can take Billy's 3, though someone's probably wearing 3.
I think Franco is.
I never understood why Ryan Ripken does not wear 88. Seems to make sense.
I do like that. Yeah, I like that.
So I hope that when he makes his appearance, which we all know is for show and to maybe sell 5 more tickets, and somehow Ryan Ripken will think it's his shot at the big leagues. I'd rather call up Tim Tebow before you call up Ryan Ripken. In my eyes.
We've run through the list of available infielders. We know that we're struggling. So maybe Richie Martin gets called up. Maybe that's something that could happen. If not on this road trip, where the Orioles are actually coming to my town, Dallas, Texas, for a road trip down here. I think they've got a 3-game series, and then they fly out to Miami to face the Marlins. For a short series, but maybe when they get back, Richie's on the gets called up. What do you think?
I like it. I'm all for call up Richie. Galvis is batting 167. You can't get worse than that. If I'm correct, he's played in every single game this season, and he's still at 167. Bring up Richie Martin. Light a fire under him. The fire worked for Ruiz. Now it didn't last, but it worked for a little bit. So yeah. I'll bring up Richie. Let's see what he can do because Galvis isn't working out.
Galvis or even, Ramon, I think, Ramon's got a few options left. So you could send him back down to,
Yep.
option him back down and call somebody else, or, a replacement for McKenna. You're right. Somebody's got to go once Hayes is ready to come back, which I think, is needed. My ideal lineup is Santander and right, Mullins and center, and Hayes in left field with,
Yes.
to be quite honest, my ideal lineup is DJ DHing and Ryan Mountcastle at first, and giving Trey a few days off until he's ready to come back.
That's not your ideal lineup. Your ideal lineup is not Mancini off the bench. But you're saying at this moment Mancini's pressing. You got to give him a day off.
A day off, yeah.
Now he got 2 days off this week, but let him just watch a game on the bench. No, I'm with you. I can't wait for Hayes to get back. I think Hayes really brings something different to this lineup. But, I mean, yeah, the positive takeaway is just this pitching. Pitching's been great. And it's not something I expected to say, that the starting pitching, at least top three, means Harvey and Zimmerman have been more than we expected.
I tell you what else I liked about Zimmerman. You tend to see pickoff plays are just so boring, but it's really exciting when one of them works. And Zimmerman got a pickoff play early, and that was kind of fun to watch and see that those actually pay off. Kind of caught a runner sleeping a bit.
But the play before that was the magic play, where the ball was thrown so hard to Mancini that it busted right through his glove, and he had to go get a new glove.
That was pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump right back and kind of look ahead a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, like I said, the Orioles are 5-8, on pace for 162, which means we have at this pace at least 57 more wins that we get to watch, or 56. I'm not good at math. Something like that. Cody, we go to Texas. Texas is also struggling. They're 5-7. If they lose tonight, they're 5-8, just like us. So is this a chance for the Orioles to bounce back? Kind of, they did well in Boston. Maybe a good road trip again?
Well, let's be honest. I don't think anybody really has an identity yet, right? I mean, nobody thought that the Red Sox would get swept by the Orioles, and that's the last game that they lose.
Now they're the best team in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody thought. I mean, look at Seattle. Nobody thought that Seattle was going to be very good, but now I think they're atop their division. So I think it's too early to tell that any of these teams have a real identity. A lot of teams are out there winning games that nobody thought that they would. So I think it's a nice situation to be in, because you can go in there with a lot of hope, right? It's I think the worst case scenario is you get beat by yourself. And we haven't. I feel like we've seen less errors. We've seen the team play better defensively. So it's just a matter of, can these guys get locked in a little bit more and put together some hits, something that they struggled with in Camden Yards, maybe, get out of their heads a little bit, a trip down to Texas, maybe that helps.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, Lopez is going to be on the mound tomorrow. So that hurts as far as, but again, this lineup has to put up runs, and it kind of got to play it like two different games. Like, irregardless of whatever the pitching does, this lineup is the issue. They got to score. They got to score. They got to score. And they're not doing that. And if Lopez gives up 10 runs and we score 8 runs, at least we saw the lineup come together and get the 8 runs. And we're going to have to take that as not a win, but a small victory moving forward.
I like it. Well, I tell you what, I'm not nearly as down on Lopez as most folks are. I think that he has some interesting stuff. He's got an interesting cutter. I like watching him pitch. I think it's going to be one of those situations, though, where you have to know what you have with Lopez, and it could just be 4 innings. And he's a guy that I have no issues with Hyde coming in and say, 4, you did good. There's only 2 runs. I'm bringing in Valdez or, Plutko. I think Plutko has been, incredible so far this year. So I'm hoping that, again, as we get to know these guys and what their limitations are, Lopez is a guy who can give you a solid 3 or 4 innings, but that's it. And
Right.
let's bring a long relief guy in there after that.
And yeah, and you're right. Everything is small sample side right now. At least for a couple more weeks, it's all going to be small samples. Lopez gave up 11 runs over his first 2 starts, but he also struck out 9 guys. So that's a positive. If you want to take a positive on there, 9 Ks is pretty good for 2 starts.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of those runs came in, he gets tagged with the runs, but it's a situation where he exits the game with, 2 guys on base, and then Armstrong gives up a 3-run home run.
Right. Yeah, Armstrong is, the starting rotation does not like Armstrong because he seems to come out and blow everything he comes in. But Lopez did struggle with a couple long balls and a lot of walks. He was walking guys a good amount, way too much. He's going to go up against the Rangers are putting Mike Folatunikis. I don't know how to say his name.
Mike.
No, he's got a last name. It's Folatunikis.
Is he a righty or a lefty?
He is a righty.
Okay, so we get to see more of our left-handed hitters. I'm not sure if I'm as excited about that. I like Mullins, and a little bit of a cleaner opportunity. But does that mean that we're going to see Rio at second? Does that mean we're going to see Cisco behind the plate?
I think. Well, we saw Cisco today. Well, no, we saw them both today, doubleheader. I think this lineup is struggling so much that you could see a big shakeup because there's a plane ride coming. And plane trips are where people start thinking, people start talking, people start making comments. You're out on the road. You're not with your families. You're not leaving the stadium as soon as the game's over. You're around these people. And road trips so that's my prediction.
I like that.
I'd like them to shake it up by bringing some guys out of Project Bowie.
Yeah,
I
would
you sold
too.
me on the Richie Martin.
And I'm just wondering who makes if there's anybody that makes the taxi squad for the road trip. And if that makes it a little bit easier to call one of these guys up or, pull somebody in. Should be interesting.
I forgot about the taxi squad. Taxi squad definitely. But in order to pull someone off the taxi squad, I think someone has to go on the IL.
On the IL or get optioned. Yeah.
Right. You can't just do a taxi squad swap.
No.
Which is what that's what I want baseball to do. I think it should be you carry 30 guys, but then every day at game time, you only have to make 26 active.
That'd be,
so
it's kind of
like the NFL.
That is kind of, I do like that. I did want to, if we're going to get into this a little bit as far as rules changes, I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to Ben McDonald and Kevin Brown talk about some of the new rule changes that were going on at the Atlantic League. What do you think about the idea of the new double hook rule, as well as moving the rubber back?
I haven't read about the double hook rule, so you'll have to fill me in.
So this is whenever the starting pitcher leaves, essentially so does the DH. So after the starting pitcher is out, then the relief pitcher either needs to hit or somebody has to pinch hit for him.
No, that's stupid. I don't care about that. I don't see how that helps the game. That hurts the game, in my opinion, because it makes the DH slot less valuable. You're then not putting your power hitter in your DH slot because you're losing them.
You and Ben McDonald are right there. Now, he thought that the idea of moving the mound back by 1 foot was absolutely ridiculous.
I love it.
And ruins the game of baseball.
I love it. All right. I used to be one of these guys. Any little effect of the game ruins the game of baseball and ruins the game I love, until I started paying more attention to the NFL. The NFL every year has a rules committee, and every year they tweak the rules slightly. And what they do is they look at the game, and if the game's more offensive heavy, they tweak the rules in favor of the defense. If the defense is destroying teams, they lean it more towards in the favor of the offense. So with the goal being a balanced game, which is what everyone wants. So I think right now in Major League Baseball, the juiced ball only favored the batters. Now I get that now we've got a dead-end ball. It doesn't look very dead to me. I haven't seen any impact yet. But I like the idea of everyone's getting stronger, faster. Analytics are bigger. Right now, everything in baseball seems to be on the favor of the pitcher. Strikeouts are at an all-time high, not just for the Orioles, across baseball. It was like 25% strikeouts per at-bats when I looked a couple of days ago. All that leans towards helping the pitcher. So I like the idea of moving the pitching mound back. I also like the idea of making the pitching mound lower, so you're not throwing down. When you're throwing down, you can get more of that power coming down. That, again, helps the pitcher. So I think it's a balance. I don't know if moving back's the right decision because I don't know if that's going to lead to more arm injuries. But I like the idea of tweaking something to try to bring balance to the game. How about you?
I'm right there. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I really thought that this memo that Major League Baseball sent out to the league about how they were going to be really, taking an eye on, the balls and whether or not anybody was using foreign substances. If they thought somebody might be using a foreign substance, they were going to take those balls out of play, send them over to a lab and have them analyzed. They were going to use all these analytics to notice spin rates if they increase and decrease. So far, all we've seen is that Trevor Bauer had a ball taken out of a game, and that's been it. So it seems like that was a memo that had no teeth and no bite to it.
And they took it to study the ball. If there's something wrong that he's doing to the ball, you should be able to see it right there and toss him in 5 minutes. Taking it out to look at it and examine doesn't do any good when we all know everyone's putting something on the ball. It's steroids all over again. Not that you're doing something illegal, but you're doing something against the game. Baseball is a funny sport. We all love it. But when you sit back and you go over the rules of baseball, there's quirks. It's funny to think, well, how did baseball come up with these rules? Something like stealing bases makes no sense in any game. No other sport can you do something that you're not allowed to do. Unless you get away with it, then you're okay. It doesn't work. So I like that baseball tweaks rules. I like that baseball has specific rules. In fact, we're taking this another step further on 336 this week, where we're going to talk about moving the mound and the double hook rule proposals over in the Atlantic League, and we're going to propose our own rule changes.
Ooh, I like that.
I got some ideas.
I like that. I'll tune in.
And this is not going to be, hey, let's make some shtick joke rules. These are serious rules that we think could improve the game of baseball because we love this game. We want more people to watch this game. So let's tweak it a little bit.
I like it. I'll tune in.
So, all right. Well, I think that about does it for Birdland tonight. Cody, what do you have going on over at the I Just Like the Duck podcast?
Not much. Just a bunch of mean tweets when we lose and exciting tweets when we win.
All right. That seems like that would fit right in with Birdland. All right. I already teased 336. Today is Jackie Robinson Day for baseball. Or if you watch the Orioles today, it was for one of the games because you need nice, fresh, clean uniforms for the second game, apparently. So if you care about Jackie Robinson Day, go back to last week's 336 where Matt and I share a story about our encounter with Jackie Robinson. Now, that would be the movie because we're way too young to have seen the player. Either way, it's a good story. Check that out, and we'll see you tomorrow night after the Rangers. I forgot to look up who's hosting. Do you know, Cody?
I don't. I was hoping to actually go to that game, but it looks like I've got some family in town, so I might not be there. But so who knows? It might be me.
All right, guys. We'll tune in tomorrow night for Orioles at Rangers.